Welcome, dear one. I'm so glad you're here. You didn't find these words by accident. Something in you is ready now, ready to soften, ready to open, ready to remember the love that has always lived within you, even in the hardest moments. Take a breath with me. Let it be gentle. No forcing, no fixing, just a breath, a moment to arrive, to be. We are entering a sacred space together, not a place outside of us, but a quiet clearing within a space where noise pauses, time slows, and the heart can begin to speak again. This is the space I return to whenever I need to remember who I truly am. There was a time when I forgot how to be kind to myself. Maybe you've had those days too, when the inner voice turns sharp, when the world feels like a race, when tenderness seems out of reach. I believed I had to earn love, prove my worth, perfect myself to deserve even a little peace. But life, in its quiet wisdom, began to show me a different truth. The truth is this: love begins here, with me, with you, with the simple act of returning to our breath and saying, I am worthy of kindness, especially my own. This essay is an offering from that truth. It's a journey through my own healing, shaped not by perfection, but by presence. I want to share how the practice of loving kindness, not as a theory, but as a lived, breathing choice, transformed the way I meet myself and the way I see the world. Loving kindness isn't just a beautiful phrase. It's practical. It's powerful. It's how we soften our reactions, forgive our mistakes, and build a life from compassion rather than fear. It's how we begin again, with gentleness instead of judgment. This practice invites us to begin where all true change begins, with the self. Not because we are selfish, but because we cannot give to others what we withhold from ourselves. When I started offering myself the love I so freely gave to everyone else, something profound shifted. My body softened, my inner voice changed, and slowly the way life responded to me changed too. Before we move further, let's pause together. Place your hand on your heart. Take another breath, soft, slow, sacred. Now whisper with me, I am ready to receive love. Idor, let those words move through you. Notice what softens. Notice what rises. There is no right or wrong, only willingness. And that willingness is more than enough. You are enough. And now we begin not out there in the world, but right here, where healing always begins. Let us start with the most tender act of all, learning to love ourselves. There was a time in my life when I didn't know how to be gentle with myself. I woke up each morning already chasing something: approval, perfection, control. I measured my worth by how much I could give, how much I could accomplish, how well I could keep everything together. On the outside, I looked composed. Inside, I was quietly exhausted. I spoke to myself in ways I would never speak to another person. My mind was a constant stream of criticism. You should be doing more. You're behind. You're not enough. I thought this voice was discipline, that self-love would make me lazy or complacent. But the truth I eventually learned is that self-criticism never leads to growth. It only deepens the wound. There came a day, I don't even remember what broke me open when I realized I could not keep living from emptiness. My body was tired, my heart brittle. It felt as if I had been pouring from an empty cup, giving and giving while never once pausing to ask, what do I need? That day, I stopped running. I sat in silence for the first time in months. I remember feeling awkward, restless, and yet, underneath the discomfort, there was something tender, a small voice whispering, "What if love begins here?" That whisper became my first encounter with what I now call loving kindness. I had read about it before, but it wasn't until I practiced it that I understood its power. I closed my eyes, placed a hand on my heart, and said softly, almost trembling, "May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy." At first, the words felt foreign, even indulgent. A part of me resisted, but I stayed with it, repeating the phrases like a prayer. With each repetition, my breath grew deeper, my shoulders loosened, and something inside me began to melt. It wasn't magic, it was remembrance. The warmth I was offering myself was the warmth I had always longed for. I realized I didn't have to wait for someone else to give it. I could give it to myself. Over time, this practice became a lifeline. Whenever my inner critic grew loud, I returned to those words. Whenever I felt overwhelmed, I placed my hand over my heart and breathed kindness into my own name. Slowly, I began to rebuild trust with myself, the kind of trust that says, even when I fail, I am still worthy of love. Self-love did not make me arrogant. It made me whole. It gave me permission to rest, to say no, to forgive myself for not knowing better when I didn't. It softened my body, quieted my mind, and allowed healing to begin in places I hadn't even realized were hurting. I learned that compassion isn't something we earn through achievement. It's something we remember through presence. I learned that when I fill my own cup with love, I no longer fear emptiness, because I know I can always return to this quiet well inside me. Self-love was my beginning, and every day since, it has been my way back home. There was something tender that happened when I began breathing not just with my lungs, but with my heart. At first, I didn't know what that meant. Breathe into your heart. But one quiet morning, I closed my eyes placed both hands over my chest, and simply listened. I slowed my breath in and out and imagined the air moving through me like light. And then I saw it. In my mind's eye, my heart appeared like a tightly curled bud, fragile, cautious, waiting. With each breath, I imagined warm sunlight pouring over it. Slowly, the petals began to soften. It didn't burst open. It unfolded gently, breath by breath, like it was remembering it was safe to bloom. I could feel the tension I had carried begin to ease, the walls I had built for protection starting to dissolve. My shoulders relaxed, my jaw softened. The space behind my ribs grew a little wider. I began to understand something I had never really heard in words before. The breath is a bridge between the body and the soul, between the moment I am in and the love I am seeking. And I discovered that my heart, this strong, steady, beating part of me, had been waiting for me to return. It didn't need to be fixed or forced open. It needed presence. It needed patience. It needed kindness. The more I breathed into it, the more it remembered how to trust. Some days I would sit in silence and feel a soft warmth gathering in my chest, as if life itself were holding me. Other times, tears would come without warning, like rain washing away an old grief I hadn't made time to feel. There was no agenda, no goal, just breath, just presence, just this living center inside me saying, I'm still here. I've always been here. And from this place, from my heart, not my head, I began to speak new words to myself, words that felt less like declarations and more like invitations. With every breath, I open to love. My heart is a safe and sacred space. These were not just affirmations. They were reminders that I didn't have to harden myself to survive. Reminders that the heart is not weak for being soft. It is wise for staying open. Breathing into my heart has become a daily devotion, a sacred pause, a way to come home when the world feels too loud, or when my thoughts feel too sharp. Because when I breathe with awareness, I remember who I am. When I breathe with love, I remember what I'm made of. And when I breathe into my heart, I remember I am already whole. There was a morning quiet and golden when I found myself thinking of someone I loved deeply. It wasn't for any particular reason. There had been no occasion, no conversation that triggered it, just a soft wave of gratitude rising in my heart like a gentle tide. I closed my eyes and let their image come to me, not just their face, but their presence, the way they laugh, the way they listen, the way their being has quietly shaped my life. And in that stillness, I imagined them surrounded by light, not just any light, but a soft, golden radiance, like the sun cradling them in warmth and peace. It wrapped around them like a gentle embrace, extending beyond words, beyond time, I breathed in deeply, and on my exhale, I sent a blessing. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. As I whispered each phrase, I felt something shift inside me. My heart expanded. My breath softened. There was a tenderness I hadn't realized. I was holding back a love that had been waiting for permission to flow. And I saw something clearly. In that moment, love is not something we give away and lose. It is something we share and expand. It multiplies the moment we let it move through us. I didn't have to do anything big or grand to make a difference in their life. This act, this silent, intentional offering of love was enough. It was powerful. From that day on, I began incorporating this simple practice into my mornings. One by one, I would call to mind those I cherish, a friend, a family member, even someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Each time, I'd imagine that same golden light surrounding them. Each time, I'd breathe slowly and bless them. May you be safe, and quote, may you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. It became a kind of spiritual gardening, planting seeds of love in the hearts of those who had touched mine. And the most beautiful thing, I began to feel more connected to them, even without speaking. Love has a way of weaving us together, even from afar. This practice taught me that we are never separate from love. When we open our hearts to send it, we find that it has been flowing through us all along. There is joy in giving without needing anything in return. There is peace in knowing that love sent is never lost. And there is a quiet, steady truth I carry now. When I offer loving kindness to those I cherish, I strengthen the golden threads that bind us, threads made of presence, gratitude, and soul-deep care. This part of the journey didn't come easily to me. Loving those I cherish, that felt natural, even joyful, but offering compassion to someone who had hurt me, that felt impossible. I remember clearly the resistance in my body, how my jaw would tighten. My breath would shallow at the mere thought of this person. I had built walls around my pain, thinking they would protect me. What I didn't realize then was that those walls had become a cage. There was someone in my life, maybe you have someone like this too, whose actions had left me feeling unseen, unheard, betrayed. For a long time, I told myself I was done with them, that I had moved on, but inside, I still carried the weight, the tension, the anger, the story. Then one morning, as I sat in quiet reflection, something shifted. I had just finished offering loving kindness to someone I adored, and I felt peaceful, light. But then that other person rose in my mind, uninvited, but undeniably present. At first, I resisted. I didn't want to bring them into this sacred space. But a voice within me, soft and wise, asked, what if you sent them love anyway? Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free? I was stunned. I had never thought of it like that. So I breathe. I imagine them not as the version that hurt me, but simply as a human being. Not good, not bad, just human. I pictured a gentle light surrounding them. At first, it felt forced, even fake, but I stayed with it. And then, quietly, I whispered, "May you be well, and may you find peace." Tears welled in my eyes, not because I suddenly loved them, but because something heavy in me began to lift. In that moment, I finally understood forgiveness isn't about approving their behavior. It's about choosing not to carry their pain in my body anymore. The person didn't change, but how I carried them did. I stopped replaying old conversations. I stopped bracing myself at the thought of them. I stopped giving them space in my heart that was meant for peace. What came in its place wasn't fireworks or dramatic relief. It was a quiet sort of freedom, like unclenching a fist I didn't realize I had been holding for years. Each time I practiced this, seeing their humanity instead of their harm, the grip loosened. This isn't a one-time event. Some days I still feel the echoes of pain, but now I have a way forward. And so do you. If someone comes to your mind right now, someone hard to forgive, pause. Picture them held in light, however imperfectly, and say, even if only in a whisper, "May you be well. May you find peace." You don't have to mean it fully at first. You only have to be willing to try. Because loving the difficult is not about them. It's about returning yourself to peace. It's about becoming lighter, freer, more whole. This is not surrender. It is liberation. It is how we begin to live without dragging the past behind us. And that, my dear one, is the true miracle of compassion. There was a time I believed the world was too broken to heal. I would turn on the news or scroll through my feed and feel helpless, overwhelmed by the pain, the division, the shouting. One part of me wanted to turn it all off. Another part wanted to scream into it. Neither gave me peace. But something inside me began to shift the day I asked a new question. What if love travels farther than fear? I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. Instead of absorbing the noise, I chose to send something back. Not anger, not frustration, but love, steady, gentle, sincere. I began with my own nation. I imagined the mountains, the rivers, the cities lit up at night. I saw people of all ages, colors, beliefs, and backgrounds working, resting, creating, surviving. I didn't try to agree with everyone. I didn't try to fix it all. I just breathed and whispered, "May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be peaceful and at ease." And something softened. It was so small, but it was real. A moment of peace, a widening of the heart. I remembered then, love is not a passive feeling. It's a powerful current that moves through thought, word, and intention. From that moment on, I made it part of my quiet practice. Each morning, or whenever the world felt especially heavy, I'd pause. I'd place my hand over my heart, breathe deeply, and imagine light flowing from me across streets, across states, across borders. Sometimes I would visualize people I'd never met. A child walking to school, a mother waking early to work, an elder sitting alone by a window, all wrapped in golden light. Not because I could solve their struggles, but because I could love them anyway. And that's what I've come to understand. Every heart, no matter where it lives, desires the same peace. We may speak different languages, hold different beliefs, but beneath it all we long to be safe, seen, and loved. When I extend loving kindness to the collective, I am not escaping from reality. I am participating in healing it. No single act of compassion is too small. No quiet blessing is ever wasted. Each time I send love into the world, I feel something shift inside me too. I become softer, stronger, more part of the solution, more whole. So now, when I feel the ache of collective grief or division, I come back to this practice, not as a denial of pain, but as an offering of hope. I close my eyes and say, may all beings be safe. May all hearts be at peace. May we remember we belong to each other. And I remind myself, when I bless the world, I become part of its mending. This is not naive. It is necessary because love is the medicine the world is craving, and it begins with us. One quiet morning, after a loving kindness meditation, I sat with my eyes still closed, and something unexpected happened. I saw the earth, not just in theory, not a globe in a classroom, or a spinning image on a screen, but in my mind's eye. I saw her as she truly is, a luminous, breathing, radiant sphere of blue and green light, suspended in the vastness of space. She was alive, and I could feel her heartbeat. Something in me went very still, and then, very wide, I saw the oceans moving like breath, the forests rising like waves of green, the deserts glowing golden under Sunday, the mountains holding silence, the animals moving in quiet patterns of instinct and grace, and humanity, all of us woven like a single tapestry, breathing the same air, walking the same earth, yearning for the same peace. In that moment, I didn't feel small. I felt part of it, not separate, not other. I belonged to earth, to life, to this rhythm greater than words. I breathed in and whispered from somewhere deep inside, may all beings be happy. May the earth be healed and whole. The prayer felt ancient, like it had always been waiting inside me. And I knew the more I expanded my compassion, the less alone I felt. The more I loved beyond myself, the more at home I became, not just in my body, but in the world. This earth, our shared home, holds us all. She feeds us, shelters us, and asks only that we remember her. To love the earth is to love what gave us life. I started blessing her more often, not out of duty, but out of wonder. When I watered my plants, I thanked the soil. When I walked outside, I touched the trees and whispered, "Thank you." When I heard birdsong, I paused and smiled. And when the world felt too much, I returned to the vision, the glowing earth in my heart, spinning slowly, embraced by stars. I began to realize loving kindness isn't just something we do for people. It's a language we speak to the earth with our breath, our presence, our choices, our prayers. So now, before I end my meditations, I say one more blessing. I imagine the entire planet, from the deepest oceans to the highest clouds, and I send this prayer. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. And I trust that those words don't stay inside me. I trust they travel, because love always does. Take a deep breath with me now and whisper, "May all beings be peaceful and at ease." Feel that prayer travel beyond you, because it does. It echoes across time and space. It ripples through hearts unseen. It blesses the world we share, because love, my dear one, is our shared home. And when we live from love, we remember we are never alone. As I slowly return to the awareness of my body, I feel different. There's more space inside me now, more quiet, more breath. I begin to notice the feeling of my feet on the floor, the gentle rhythm of my breath, the soft beating of my heart, steady, faithful, present. This practice, this time I've given to loving kindness, hasn't just soothed my thoughts. It has rearranged something deeper. It's as if I've come home, not to a place, but to myself. And this home is soft. This home is kind. This home is love. I understand now that loving kindness isn't something I leave behind when I stand up from the cushion or close my eyes in meditation. It comes with me. It is me. I bring it into my morning coffee, my conversations, my pauses at red lights, my ability to listen, really listen before I speak. I bring it into how I forgive, how I breathe through irritation, how I meet someone's eyes in the grocery store and smile. Small acts, yes, but not insignificant. Because now I know every act of love is an offering. Every gentle choice is a ripple that blesses not only me, but the world around me. This is the integration. This is the return, not just to my breath or my body, but to my heart as a compass, a sanctuary, a guide. When I get lost again, and I will, because I'm human, I'll remember that my way back is never far. It's one breath away, one moment of kindness, one whisper of truth. I'll say, I am a vessel of love. In wherever I go, I bring peace. These aren't just words anymore. They are choices. They are commitments. They are how I walk through the world, now softer, slower, truer. And as I close this sacred time with you, I place my hand over my heart and offer thanks. Thanks for the journey. Thanks for the remembering. Thanks for the love that has always been here, just waiting for my attention. Let this be my promise to myself and to life, that I will live as love, that I will choose gentleness, that I will remember the power of kindness, especially when it's hardest, because in the end, every path I walk leads me back here, to the heart, to home, to love. As I reach the end of this journey, this inward spiral of breath, intention, and gentle remembering, I feel a quiet joy rising in me. Not the loud joy of achievement, but the peaceful joy of returning to something ancient and true. I began with a hand on my heart, whispering a willingness to receive love. What I've received in return is more than words, it's a felt sense of belonging, not just to myself, but to this world, to the breath between us, to the vast and invisible network of kindness that surrounds us all. This experience has reminded me that loving kindness is not something I do. It is who I am becoming. With each breath, each soft thought, each forgiving gesture, I shape the person I am and the world I live in. The journey began with self-love, expanded to include those I cherish, embraced even those who have been difficult to hold, and finally reached the world, nations, strangers, trees, oceans, stars, but it always returns here to the heart, to the breath, to this quiet moment where compassion begins again. I used to think I had to wait until everything around me was peaceful before I could be at peace. Now I know the opposite is true. Peace begins within me. And when I tend to it with love, with presence, with kindness, it ripples outward in ways I may never see, but always trust. If you take one thing with you from this practice, let it be this: 1 minute of compassion changes the vibration of your whole life. One soft thought can begin to heal a hard story. One act of loving kindness echoes farther than fear ever could. So let us not rush away from this stillness too quickly. Instead, let us carry it gently with us. Let it walk beside us into our homes, our conversations, our errands, our hopes. And now I offer you this small closing blessing from my heart to yours. May your heart always return to love. May your words heal where they land. May your light remind others that peace begins within. Thank you truly for sharing this sacred moment with me. By simply reading and breathing alongside me, you have become part of something larger, a great circle of kindness that continues with each one of us. And if you're wondering why this found you now, let me say, it's because you're ready. You are ready to be soft again, ready to remember, ready to live as love, not perfectly, but honestly. And love, beautiful love, has been waiting for you to remember all along.